Today on Dylan Talks Tone, we're going to talk about acoustic guitar strings. How's it going? My name is Dylan. This is Dylan Talks Tone. On this channel, we talk all about guitar tech, guitar tone, guitar setup, all kinds of stuff. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a little kind of a personal journey I'm doing with acoustic guitar strings. This is my Breedlove Premier Dreadnought. So it's a spruce top, rosewood back and sides, striped ebony fretboard. I've had this guitar for a couple of years. I really love it. It's my favorite acoustic I've ever had. It came with EJ117 Adarrio strings on it, phosphor bronze, in a 13. I went to 12s for like a really short time, couldn't stand them, went back to 13s. It's a 25.5-inch scale guitar, which that would be weird, but we'll talk about that later also. Anyway, the bottom line is I've had this guitar for about 2 years now, and I want to choose some different strings. I don't know if I want to choose different strings, literally. I might go back to these, but instead of getting in a rut, like in our last video we talked about, instead of just listening to forums and stuff on the internet, I'm going to actually do some research myself. So I ordered all these strings on Amazon, had them shipped here. I'll put a link in the description of this video below and let you know what I got. So we got Cleartones, I got D'Addarios, I got the Earthwound Phosphor Bronze by Ernie. I got John Pearse. I got the Ernie Aluminum Bronze, which is an interesting one. And then of course I got Elixir Nano Webs. Now the reason this whole conversation came up is because I can't stand these strings, or I thought I couldn't years ago. But I want to try some stuff. I just want to experiment with it. Along the way we're going to talk about acoustic guitar setup, kind of what is important, what isn't not important, and we're going to do this whole thing. So let's get started. First of all, what we're going to do is we're actually going to have my wife take the strings out of the package, and we're going to have her just hand me the strings by themselves without the package, and she's going to pay attention to what set we're putting on first, and then I'm going to leave one set on the guitar for a week at a time, and I'm just going to give you periodic updates of what I think of these strings as I go, and I'm not going to know what they are. That being said, we might be able to tell because maybe we get the feel of it or something. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting experiment. And along the way, I'm going to talk to you about other things that we want to concern ourselves with acoustic guitar setup. This might be a good time to ask a question. So I'll put your answer to this question in the comments below. How often do you change your strings? Are you like one of those like string junkie that changes a set every week? Do you wait a long time? How long do you wait? That's the question. On my electric guitars, I change them all the time. On my acoustic guitar, I don't change them often enough because I don't play this guitar enough. So I'm really excited to do this experiment because it's also going to force me to play the guitar more. So because I do not change my strings often enough or play this guitar often enough, I'm going to show you a couple things that I do to make the strings last as long as possible. One of them is wipe the thing down before and after you play it every time and make sure your hands are clean. That's number one. Number two is, and this is not a paid endorsement or anything, they sent me this stuff to try like 2 years ago, I will tell you that, but this is not like a paid thing or anything. Lizard Spit has this fresh and easy string treatment stuff. And basically what you do before and after you play is you just go like this on the strings, and that's it. And it protects the strings from corrosion and contaminants from the outside air, because humidity and cigarette smoke and pollution and all that sort of stuff builds up on your strings in between all those little grooves, and that's what kills them in the first place. If you don't play your guitar very often, this is a fantastic thing to do. The other thing is that if you do play your guitar a lot, this will also protect the strings from the oils in your hands, depending on how oily your hands are. Now, one of the unique things about my Breedlove, and that's why I clip the strings the way I do, is because this guitar does not have bridge pins. It actually comes through the back of the bridge. So you have to use some good care here to not do damage to your guitar top. Getting the strings out. Alright, so let's talk about fretboard maintenance. What do we do? clean the fretboard, oil the fretboard. There's all kinds of questions about this. I use a Lizard Spit product. This stuff is fantastic. So Lizard Spit oil, I've had this bottle for 2 years. Like I said, this is not a paid endorsement. I've had it for 2 years. I've only used it down this far. It's awesome because you only use just a little bit to clean the fretboard. Now here's the thing about fretboard oil. This is not to humidify the fretboard. Oil and water don't mix, so this is not to humidify the fretboard at all. This is literally to clean it, to get the goop and junk from your fingers off of the fretboard, because they build up over time. I mean, that's from me playing this guitar, and I don't actually play this guitar very much. Alright, and I used just a little drop, and we did the whole thing, and we got all that finger goo off of there. I'm also inspecting the frets just to make sure we don't have any dings or anything weird that we have to polish up while we're here. Okay, so my wife has opened the package and handed me some strings. I'm gonna guess what they are, and she's gonna write it down, and I'm gonna play them for a week, and I'm gonna learn afterwards, after the whole experiment is over. I'm not gonna know what strings they are, because I don't want to be biased by the internet or packaging or anything like that. So she's literally handed me bare strings. I'm gonna guess that these are Elixirs. These feel like Elixirs, but I don't know. We'll just have to see. Let's just go ahead and put them on the guitar. I really don't know. Oh, I don't know, they're gold. Alright, people always ask me, how do you know how much string to pull back from the tuner? On an acoustic guitar, I do the length of one tuner to the next, plus a little bit more, and I pull it back like this, and I wind it around the key. On the big string, that gives me safely three winds around the peg to nice and lock it. I don't do that weird, no tying it in knots or none of that junk, because if you're doing it under pressure, you don't ever want to have to deal with that. Like if you're at a gig and you break a string, you don't ever want to deal with stupid knots or anything. So that's all I do. Alright, so we got the strings on the guitar. We've got it pretty much up to tension. Now, let's talk about one more thing about string changing and etc. There is many different ways to stretch strings and to ensure proper tuning stability with a new set of strings. I'm going to show you how I do it. Very first thing, I use a Korg sledgehammer tuner. Let's go ahead and tune this thing basically up to pitch. Alright, so now that we're basically to pitch, you notice the guitar is still sitting the wrong way and everything. It doesn't really matter. What I do is I take my thumb and my index finger and I put it in between the strings like this. And I put my thumb on the nut so that you don't worry about breaking the nut. And I just go like this, up and down the string a couple times. Okay? What that does is it evenly stretches the string from one end to the other. If you just pull up on them like this, it stretches them more at the ends, but not so much in the middle. Now we've evenly stretched the guitar, the strings, all the way the whole length. Now let's go ahead and tune it correctly. Now that it's tuned properly, go ahead and clip my ends because I can't stand that. I think this is going to be a really fun experiment. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to go ahead and go play this thing for a week. Do me a favor, and if you go to facebook.com/DylanTalksTone, we're going to post little update videos over there. I'm not going to bore you all along the way with every little thing about this, but what I think I am going to do is maybe we'll put together some back-to-back sounds as we go through the string changes. Again, this is not like a string review, right? Like, I don't think that you should make a decision based on a string review on the internet. I think you should just go buy the stuff yourself and try it, because every guitar is different. In our next video about this with the string changes, we're going to talk about individual scale lengths and all this sort of stuff of different brands of guitars, bridge constructions. All of that stuff can matter in what strings you choose. That's why what I choose for my guitar might not be the same thing for you. So that's why I'm saying this is a really fun experiment to do. If you do it, let me know and post some videos and stuff. I'm curious to see what you think. And go back to our question of the day. How often do you change your strings? I'm going to do it once a week on this guitar for like 7 weeks in a row. It's going to be crazy. My name is Dylan. This is Dylan Talks Tone. If you have any questions about this or anything else that we do here on Dylan Talks Tone, leave a question in the comments. I'll make a video just for you. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button right there and the little bell next to it so that you find out the next time we make one of these cool videos. And until next time, I don't know, that was a terrible conclusion. But I hope you have a great day. Go play your guitar. Well, I just decided to put as bonus footage on this video. I haven't even played it. So I made the video, tuned the guitar, stretched the strings. Now I'm just sitting in my living room and they really feel like Elixirs. This guitar sounds so good. Alright, so they sound balanced. Not going off any opinions about anything except for just tone of what I like on my guitar. The low frequency, this is weird. So the high frequency part of the low frequencies. So is not quite bright enough for me, just based on opinion of the sound that I like. I like that, the high end of those low notes to be a little bit brighter. But I like from the D string down how uniform everything is. Nothing rings over loud over more than anything else. Nice and even. Part of that's the guitar, because the guitar is awesome, but well, I'm gonna play it for like an hour a day all week. We'll see what happens. You can check out the bonus footage at the end of the next video for the next set of strings. Again, I don't know what these are. We'll talk to you soon.